So welcome back to day 3 for everybody who wasn't here 2 seconds ago. And today is your day to just work through the entire day. You're going to be putting together your pitch as well as whatever prototype you want to show. That can be a walkthrough, that can be a mock-up, that can be a working prototype, that can be your code. If you have code that you would like the judges to see, you'll need to send me a link when you bring your final pitch deck at 4:30 Dublin time, GMT +1. I'm going to keep saying that all day so that at 4:35, nobody can say that they did not know that the pitches were due at 4:30. Pitches are due at 4:30. Everything is due at 4:30. So what needs to be in the pitch? This is my favorite part. So we're doing basic startup, basic pitch structure, kind of hackathon structure. If you've done a hackathon before, you've seen this. You've probably had myself or David Waters or Sean Judge tell you exactly the same things that I'm going to say right now, but there's a reason we say them every time. They work. So first thing you're going to want, and hold on, let me get my excuse me, my example pitch up here. All right, you guys can all see my pitch deck here. So this is something that some team and I made a year ago, more than a year ago. That was a successful pitch deck, so I'm showing you one that worked. So first thing you want to have is your grab. Why is this important? What do you want people to lock onto when they think about like, this is why I need to pay attention right now? Something that is very useful is giant numbers. People are always shocked by the size of the market or the size of the amount that they could save. Big numbers catch people's attention every time. While you have this kind of slide up where you're going to catch people's eye with big numbers, explain why this is a problem. Give a short description of what you're doing in an elevator pitch, as few words as possible. Don't put that on this slide. Try and have as few words as possible on the slide so that people are paying attention to you talking as opposed to reading your slides. We've all been in lectures in university where the slide is 1,000 words and you never really even hear the voice of the professor because you've just been reading the slides the whole time. You don't want that experience here. You want the judges paying attention to you and having the slides there as a visual aid to support what you're telling them. Excuse me. I haven't had to talk this much in ages. After your grab, you're going to go on to the problem. So what is the problem that you're going to solve? Give us a little bit more detail here. You're not yet going to include other details such as the market or your specific solution, but you really want them to understand why this is an issue and who this is affecting. So this is where you can start to talk about the people that you have researched, your user, why is this important to them? What part of their life is this going to make better? For us, so we were a hiring platform that focused on soft skills. So our problem was we had people with a lot of skills and no degrees, and we had people with degrees and no skills, and we had employers on the other side looking for an employee that they couldn't find, and this wall in the middle because they couldn't communicate with each other. If you have a really complex problem, I also recommend either telling a story. Later when we pitched this again, we had a woman named Gail who had so much she had to do, and we described her life and how this product would fit within her life in terms of hiring the perfect person. So describe your problem in a way that either visually the judges can understand or through empathy. Telling a story makes them relate to the person that is going to be your user. And then present your solution. Again, either empathy or visually, some way so that the judges can instantly say like, oh, I understand why this solution makes sense. Describe how you're going to solve the problem. give us a brief overview at first, and you can give us, here is where you should show your demo if you have one. So if you have a like UX walkthrough, if you have your prototype, this is where you can show it here. We had none of those things, so we had a fake computer with our name on it. But we described visually how it goes in. We said, okay, we put the soft skill, applicants put the soft skills into the program, and it matches them with jobs. And then the employer can say, okay, these are the people who have matched for my job, and I'm gonna find them. And we described, now all of the people are saying, my experience is useful, the graduate knows what other skills they need to develop, everybody's happy. So again, telling a story either through people, through empathy, or visually, so that everybody understands why this is an important solution, why this is something that they should support. Next up, what is the opportunity for it? What does the market look like? What is the hole in the market that you're going to fill? And show that you've validated it here. This is where all that research on will people pay for it is going to come into play. So where can your solution be deployed? We were looking at how many graduates there were, how many people get hired every year, how many people leave within the year, how many people are unhappy within their job. Again, this is a place where you can throw giant numbers at people because they'll be slightly shell-shocked by giant numbers, and they tend to pay attention. When you tell somebody that there are savings of $1.42 billion in a year, you're going to catch their attention. Also, even though I'm saying throw giant numbers at people, use numbers that people can relate to. So 66% of the people are unhappy in their job. This is something you can say like, oh yeah, maybe 3 out of the 5 people I know don't like their job, sure. Or the idea that 75% leave in 1 year. 75% is a number that I can understand. Next up, how are you going to get to market? So this is how you're going to take your brilliant product. This is something that Laurie and Fiona both talked about yesterday. You can have the most brilliant product ever, but if nobody's going to pay for it, it's not going to go anywhere. How are you going to find those people who are willing to pay for your product, who need it, who want to use it, and who are willing to pay for it? Describe who those people are. For us, it was job seekers in universities, employers, anybody looking for a connection between somebody looking for a job and somebody looking for an employee. How are you going to, and then describe how you're going to reach those people. It could be through advertising, it could be through business associations, it could be through regulation. How are you going to get your product in the hands of those people, either literally or figuratively, depending on your product? We have described it here. We're going through business marketing on business platforms. We were demonstrating our lower hiring costs, going through word of mouth, going through recruitment services, and proving that we could improve employee retention. You're also going to be asked to show the business argument roughly for your product. And this can be within your go-to-market strategy. So how are people going to pay for it? Are you going to use a free model that then people pay for later? Are you going to take a commission? Are people going to pay a monthly? Are they going to buy it just one time and use it forever? Decide how you're going to do that, just so that you have something to show the judges that you've thought about what is the business model of this and how are you going to grow it later. If it's something that everybody pays for once and you don't have a very big market, you're going to have one big influx of cash, but then how are you going to keep that going throughout the lifetime of your business? And then you can also describe, if you like, your team. Tell us a little bit about why it is that you guys are the ones that should be taking this forward. This one is totally up to you guys about whether you want to include this aspect of it. Some people love to see it. Some judges really want to know. Some judges don't care at all. That slide is totally up to you guys. So what are the judges looking for besides those things? All right, you're going to be looked at, and I will put a copy of the judges' criteria into the general chat as well, so you guys can see this too. But the judges are looking for validation. Have you done your research? Is there a value proposition for this solution? Do you understand the problem? Show that you did all that research in the first day and a half. What is the impact that this is going to have? Is this a very expensive product and a very expensive process that is only going to affect a small part of the market? Or is it a cheap product and process that could impact a lot of people? Find what is that balance? What is that ratio between what you're putting in and what you're going to get out of it? Execution and design. Does it work, or does the concept make sense if you're not showing a finalized, like coded, finalized tech prototype? At least with the design, is it smooth? Does it look like somebody could use it? Does it look like specifically your market could use it? And lastly, your business model. Have you thought about how you're going to go to market, how people are going to pay for it, if people are going to pay for it? All of those important things. How is it going to make money? How is it going to grow? That is it. So, and because we have a few teams who have dropped out in the past 2 days, instead of 3 minutes, you now have 5 minutes to pitch all of those things, which is so much time. You have so much time. But practice. Make sure that you can say all of those things in 5 minutes. Because if you don't say all of those things in 5 minutes and you keep talking after 5 minutes, I will mute you. This is my favorite thing about being virtual. I can mute you. So if you go over 5 minutes, I will mute you. Everybody else who has been on one of these virtual ones before knows I will do it. And I will shout at you to stop. So you get 5 minutes, I'll yell, hey, stop. And then if you go past, I will mute you. The judges will also have 5 minutes to ask questions. So you have a chance to answer any things that you might not have covered in the pitch that they might bring up. So be prepared to have somebody ready to answer specific questions. You don't have to leave it all on your presenter to answer all of the questions. If somebody's specific area is tech, you can pass off tech questions to them. If somebody's specific area is business, have them handle the business ones. You can show that different people within the team have different areas of expertise, and it's not just all on one person. For that hiring one that I showed, I was not the tech person. I'm never the tech person. So any tech questions I passed off to somebody else who knew far more than I did. Last thing, I recommend having one person present. So you'll have kind of like what I've done here, where I'm talking at you and showing a pitch deck. That's the smoothest. If you guys can make it work to have more than one person present, I'm happy to let that happen. Just know that it's a lot of coordinating, and you only have 5 minutes, and you only have today to perfect it. So I recommend having one person present their screen, go through the slides, do the talking, and then anybody can ask questions. Making sure I'm not skipping anything. That's it. If you have any code, I don't know if I said this already. If you have any code, send me the link also at 4:30 so that the judges will have access to that at 5 o'clock when you present. So at 4:30, whoever is your representative that is going to pitch should come to that final pitch link, and I will put it again in the group chat, or in the general chat, sorry. We'll do a real quick test. I can hear you, I can see your slides, I can hear any audio if you have that we need, and then we'll go on to the next person. We'll do them in order. I'll also have to make the people who are presenting co-hosts so that you'll be able to share your slides. That is everything. Does anybody have any questions about pitching, about what you need for today, what the plan is for today? You have the whole day to work. We'll have one keynote from James Marshall at 1:30. And then other than that, you have the whole day to yourselves to plug away, get your prototype done, get your pitch done. But any questions about pitching the rest of the day? What's expected?
One question I have, right? So do we need to show the MVP up and running, or are we okay to show the slides only?
You need to have some kind of demonstration. So I need to be able to see in some way what your product is going to look like.
Right. Okay. So is it okay that we can show that product by screen share on our laptop,
Yeah.
or do we need to host it on some cloud?
Nope, you can screen share it. That's fine.
Okay. The third question: do we need to only show the traceability of food products domain, or we can show the blockchain in another industry?
This one is about food, so it needs to focus on how it's applying to the food supply chain.
All right. Okay.
Cool. Any other questions? Awesome. Taking silences now. So that's everything from me for now. I'm going to put the whole list of things I just said into the general chat as well. So you'll have it all in written form, and I will post the link to this video once it's done, as always. If you have any questions about pitching or what's expected or anything like that, feel free to ping me. If you have tech questions, you can ping the Microsoft Tech Team mentors. For tech questions, please don't ask me tech questions because I will just blank stare at you and have no answer. And that's it. So great work, you guys, for the past day and a half, and keep it up. And I can't wait to see what you guys present. I've been, as always, sneakily creeping on your chats and love what I'm seeing. So great work so far, great ideas, great energy. Keep it up. You guys have almost made it to the end. So see everybody at 1:30 for James Marshall's talk.